My aim is to become one with the water, to harmonize with the wave. It's listening to what the wave's saying. And when you finish the wave, you're like, you cannot remember what you did. That's the best feeling. It doesn't matter how you ride the wave, but who's having most fun. Most important thing for me is paddling. If you cannot catch a wave, you cannot get on the wave. You cannot surf.
Do you struggle with your paddle power? Well, I can go months without surfing and roll to pumping waves and surf 3-hour sessions multiple times a day, day after day after day by using the Basis Paddle Trainer. It was a total game changer for me, and it can be for you too. These things actually work, unlike elastic resistance bands. You can train your paddling anytime, anywhere, so you can catch more waves and have more fun. Just 10 to 20 minutes a couple times a week, and you're gonna be in insane paddle shape. Right? So remember, the key progression is more waves, and the key to more waves is more paddle power. Check it out at surfbasis.com. You're going to be stoked.
All right. Welcome to the Basis Surf Podcast. Very excited today because we got Masatoshi Ohno. He's the, in Kanoa Igarashi's words, the Japanese godfather of modern surfing. He's called the Japanese Occy, known for being dangerous on the QS for over 10 years, came close to making the cut and making it onto the CT for multiple times, super strong reputation at Pipe, also coach of the Japanese team at the Olympics, rides for Channel Islands, chairman of the S League. Very excited to get into a bunch of topics. Thanks for joining, Masatoshi.
Thank you for having me, Van.
All right. I'm so excited.
My first time.
Yeah, first podcast. All right. Hell yeah. Well, I'm very excited and want to get into a ton of topics, like training all those guys for the Olympics, your own style and technique, paddle fitness, the mental side of things. We got a ton of stuff to get into. Also, there's something interesting you're talking about, balancing like style and the artistic side of surfing versus the competition side. So we got a ton of stuff to get into. But first, the first question I had for you, because I was watching that, that stab clip where they went to Tokyo and you were hanging out with Kanoa, and you said you were so blown away when I think you were at the U.S. Open, and I guess you just lost a heat and you were kind of bummed. And he's like this little kid, and he runs up to you and he's like, "Why did you lose?" And you were like, "What do you mean?" And he was like, "It's so easy." And you're like, "What?" And you're like so blown away by his consciousness. Like, what did you mean by that? What really jarred you there?
I mean, for him, it's a backyard, right? Like, he grew up in Huntington. Every year, all the top guys come to Huntington, surf with them, hang with them, and thousands and I don't know how many, but millions of people watching Huntington Beach competition. For him, every year, all the circus comes to town, and he just hangs there. It's his home. And for me, the environment and also how it forms the personality and also the consciousness I was talking about, for him, it's natural for him to feel comfortable being in that environment because he born there and he grew up there and he surfed with them, and you see that millions of people every single year come to his hometown, and this is normal for me. And perform in front of people, it's normal. And
Right.
And me coming from Japan, and you go there and enter competition, and you look back and millions of people watching you compete. It's that difference in I had to get used to it to perform in front of the millions of people. It takes time.
Yeah, it's interesting, especially because the US Open is such this big, crazy event, right? Like normally when you're competing on the QS, there's probably not the same intense audience. There's people there to support and stuff, but it's not crazy like the US Open. So was that the big shock for you? Just like the sheer number of people and the energy, and it just felt like, you're at World Cup, or it's a massive event. Well, that was the biggest shock for you.
I mean, the very first time I see the Huntington Beach and all the skates going, VMX is going, the music is going, the whole event was just overwhelming for me.
Yeah.
For me to see, and wow, this is the world stage. And I had to get used to it. to perform. But for him, it's like, since he was 5 or 3 or 2, I don't know when he was young, he started surfing. But just for me, for him, it's like, it's an everyday thing. I mean, every year thing.
Yeah.
And when when I see that, it was like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
I see it.
Totally. And so do you think, part of the reason for Kanoa's success is like his mindset and the way he approaches it, and just, being comfortable in these very intense environments in competition?
I mean, of course, the environment is very important. At the same time, I think he born under the star of the star to be the star. I mean, not everybody. For example, all the Japanese people start to migrate to Huntington Beach. It's not everybody becomes a star like him, or good surfer like him, or everybody become like Kelly Slater. It doesn't mean that you move to Huntington Beach and you become a champion or star or whatever. But, and for him to say, I like pressure. I like more pressure that I perform. More pressure, the better, he says.
Yeah.
And that mentality, you need to have that mentality in order to perform in the clutch moments or in front of millions of people, and you just has to love.
Yeah, well, I think it's a very interesting discussion. Like, I think most of the people in my community that are listening to this podcast probably aren't competitive surfers, but even your everyday surfer still feels a ton of pressure. Like, you're paddling out, you're at a new spot, and there's people in the lineup. You haven't seen these people in the lineup. You also feel a ton of pressure, and you still feel like this, like, am I going to be able to perform? You're the one, it's your, you're in the lineup. It's your wave. That perfect wave comes to you. You still feel a lot of pressure when that wave comes to you, no matter your level of skill, whether you're, at the top level, you're competing at the US Open, or you are, you've been surfing for like 6 months or whatever. You're still going to feel a lot of that pressure. So do you think it's possible to cultivate this mindset of like wanting pressure, or do you think that's something that you're born with? Because that seems like one of the most, if you could cultivate that mindset, that could be one of the most powerful things you have, where you're like, oh, I feel stressed out, but like this makes me better,
Exactly. I feel it, I take it as a challenge or growth. Every single the emotions that I feel. For example, why you feel pressure? Because you want to perform. You want to show that you can do it. I don't know. There's many layers to it, but first of all, why you perform, and why you want to perform, and why you feel pressure. Because you want to perform to show them I can surf, and the whole the layer, if you peel it's a fear of losing your face, kind of, especially in the competition environment.
Yeah.
And also, of course, you want to win, but why you want to win? You want to prove to people that I'm a better surfer. And there's many layers to it, but I think that for me, when I was young, I just wanted to win. But then I start to grow up. Every single challenge is for me to find out myself. It's very good tool for me. For the surfing competition was very interesting tool for me to find out myself. Why you feel this way? Why you feel that way? Why you, when the wave came to you at you, 10 seconds left, you need a 7.5, and you made it, or you didn't get the score. And it's to see your psyche is very interesting. So for me, the competition, even the normal surf, thousands of people, waves are good, the best wave coming to you and right in front of you appeared, and you want to perform and you fall off on the first turn or whatever, why you fall, all this pressure. But to get to know yourself, it's very good tool. The surfing taught me everything, and also yes. So for me, is like,
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you see what I mean?
It almost seems like what you're saying.
It's a tool for me.
Yeah. And it's like you're saying so there's two like ways to motivate yourself as a surfer, right? And I think this applies to competitive surfers, but everybody.
Yeah.
One way of looking at it is like you have this external force on you. It's like, oh, I want to make sure everybody else sees that I'm surfing well. You feel this external pressure. You're thinking about, I need to perform for others. And what you're talking about is more, I'm shifting the reason, the why that I'm surfing more towards, I'm doing this to explore myself and to understand myself, right?
Definitely.
And to explore and have this experience for myself. And then it's also this, as you were talking about, this self-exploration where you're like, oh, in the, surfing is this way for you to observe yourself and see, why do I feel this pressure? Why do I care so much about all these other people, whether they see me perform on this wave or not, right? Why do I care if I'm going to win or not,
Yeah.
And this is this really deeper, thing that surfing becomes, where it's not just, you doing a turn on a wave, but it's understanding yourself and your relationship with other people even, that seems like what you're telling me. Is that correct? Does that sound right? Or is it something different?
Right. Pretty much it. But I'm enjoying surfing more than ever at the moment, and it's going to only get better and better. I think funner and funner, because it's not about me performing for someone. It's doing it for me.
Yes.
It sounds selfish, but at the same time, it's I think focus or zone, what they call zone, is not becoming mu, which is zero. It's not detached. It's more of a inclusive. It's become one with everybody, because when you're in the zone, you can see it, you can hear it, you really detail stuff, you can feel it, but at the same time you're in the zone and the waves come to you. So it's not about, I think it's not becoming detached from this world. Its zone is more of become one with everything. So and more you get to know yourself and understand, because I always looking every single session, I would like to get into the zone because it's super fun.
Right.
And
right.
I'm always searching like how to get into the zone.
Yeah, that's the hardest thing. It's so funny. I just interviewed Tom Carroll, and because he also teaches meditation, and we also had this really long discussion of like how to get into the zone, how to get into the flow. And he uses breath work with Marcus Hamill. But it sounds like you're talking about Mu. You probably have this, you're Japanese, so I'm just going to assume that you have this Zen, maybe meditation approach to it. But
Tom Carroll and Occy is my top two guys looked up to when I was young and even now. And Tom-san comes to Fundamental a couple times already.
Yeah.
And I really resonate he says, what we do.
That's so cool. Well, one of the things that you said that I thought was key there, was just talking about how your focus seems more about just having fun, just like enjoying yourself, enjoying the wave, enjoying the experience. And that's probably a really good strategy to break out of that. Oh, I'm worried about other people. Am I going to blow the wave? All these kinds of things. So I'm sure that you guys focused a lot on the mental side when you were, getting ready for the Olympics with, the whole Olympic team, Kanoa, Connor and all those guys. But what else? Tell me more about the training that you guys did getting ready for the Olympics. Like, how did you were the head coach. Like, what were you guys doing in preparation?
They know what they're doing. So I don't call myself a coach because they know what they're doing. They're the masters. So I basically, I want to get better at my surfing, and as a human, I want to get to know myself more better, and to surf with them, to be in that environment is just it pushes me to a better surfer, better human, better get to know myself better. It's like I call myself sparring partner, and I would like to surf with them because I have nothing to tell them. I'm not a coach. I just want to be with them and as a soundboard, and if I don't surf and telling them what to do from the boat, there's no respect. I have to charge like 8 to 10 feet pipeline or chopo. I have to go for it to earn the respect from them. And also and if I don't know pipeline, there's nothing to say, nothing to talk, and but that wave or that swell direction or the sandbank or whatever, we can just naturally talk if I really be in the water with them. I would like to call myself sparring partner, and
well, clearly you have their respect, right? If Kano is calling you the Japanese godfather of modern surfing, and you are known for being very good at pipe and heavy waves, so but it's a very humble approach, and I appreciate that. So what were so you were their sparring partner? Was there anything that you guys were working on getting ready for the Olympics, or was it more just like you guys spending time together, getting comfortable, at Chopu and doing these things, or what was it like?
Definitely, like every day we wake up early and surf, and basically it's basic. The work is done before you get into Chopo. Olympics. They do mental preparation every day. They do training every day. They surf every day. By the time they get to Tahiti, they're all ready to go. And basically, it's just surfing, training, and feeling good, eating good, and it's one extra that if I would able to mention, it will be it's an individual sports, but it's going in there as a team, Japan. So everyone fighting for the medal, but we there as a team. So it was very interesting setup. Every single time you go into the Olympics or ISA, because they're going for the spot for the Olympic and fighting for the spot, and there's only one spot. And but we're doing good as a team. As a team Japan, they cheer each other, train together, surf together, and seem like we have a good team. It's just I haven't said anything to the team, but I feel it's important to acknowledge the envy that when you lost, your feeling, acknowledge the feeling is very important. You don't have to say it, but it's okay to feel envy or mad or any kind of emotions, because it's healthy, because the society tells you not to cry, not to yell. It's no good to feel envy, but it's natural to feel envy. We're humans.
Right. Yeah.
And it's so unhealthy to deny your feelings.
Yeah.
But it seems like they're doing good at seeing their emotions, and I'm sure they're when they lose or when they win, going into the room and processing their feelings. I feel, because that's what I feel. That's what they do. So it's creates the healthy environment. The whole as a team.
Right.
They're really aware.
So it seems like what you're saying is, you know, because probably a lot of the time when you're in competition, but this is the same when you're just an everyday surfer, right? Someone else, you're having a bad session or whatever, or you're in a heat and you see somebody get a wave, you're going to feel this envy, and probably, at least guys, will probably tend to just suppress the emotion. They'll probably just try to pretend like, oh, I'm fine. It doesn't matter. And you just bottle it up and you try to pretend you're fine, but you're saying that it's unhealthy if you bottle and suppress that emotion. Like, it's better to acknowledge the emotion, and then by acknowledging the emotion, you probably are able to let it go like quicker, right?
I think so.
It's not that you're gonna feel it, and when you feel it, it's not a good feeling, but it's better to acknowledge that emotion and then let it pass, and then try to shift your attention than just bottling it up, and then it just builds up, and then over the long term, probably it's gonna hurt your performance. Is that what you're saying?
And also as a life quality of life, it's not just competitors, but it's just basically even in the company also, right? Someone got promotion. You feel envy towards them, whatever, but it's everyday life. You in the company, or you're competing, or you whatever, you feel or even the neighbor, I don't know, but
yeah,
you all these emotions with tendency to bottle it up.
Yeah,
but in long term, it will erupt in I don't know what way, but it's healthy to acknowledge your feelings, and it's okay to feel whatever feelings you feel you have.
Yeah.
Because when I was young, when we were young, the parents or the elders tell you it's no good to feel this way or that way, or you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm still exploring though.
Right. Well, it's so interesting that we're going deep into this, because I know at all levels of surfing, but especially at the highest levels of surfing, like, so much of it is mental, right? Because with those guys, it's hard to give, their technique is already flawless in so many ways, so it's hard to give more advice there. But the place where you can support them as, being on the team is like a lot on the mental side. So that's probably why you're thinking about it a lot and trying to help support them a lot. That's interesting. So leading up to the Olympics, though, were you involved at all in their training, or was it mostly at the time of the event?
More at the event.
Okay, got it.
Because they're busy traveling around, and
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to ask you, because I know that, so I interviewed Philippe Melvaux, and he he's a Hurley team manager, and he's in France, but he also coached Kanoa Igarashi. Because Kanoa was trying to go through this whole reset, and he was getting ready, and he actually called Philippe up, and he was like, I want to get better at my front side carve. And Philippe was talking about how they would wake up every day, 5 a.m., surf like 8 hours a day, then do training on top of it. And it was just what I was blown away by was how hard and how long. And this is like weeks and weeks of just how hard and how long Kanoa would work and train.
He's a hardworking man.
Yeah, it's very, very, very impressive. I mean, what was it like for you when you were training, on the QS and trying to make it to the CT? Like, how hard? Like, what was your training like?
I mean, I was training I was surfing, but as I see Kanoa working really hard every day, nonstop, and he said he cannot stop surfing even if he stopped 3 days of surfing, he starts to get agitated. He starts to get shaky, he says.
Yeah.
And when he was going through the reset phase, I told him to stop surfing, because you're not gonna your surf level not gonna go down, probably go up by stopping. Like for I don't know, 1 month.
Okay.
Or maybe 3 weeks. But he said, "Oh, I cannot stop surfing for 3 weeks." And it was that he loves surfing, and he loves to train, and he's a hardworking man.
And why were you saying that he should take a month off? Just to like take a break to let his mind like, just like reset a little bit, or what was your suggestion there?
To me, it was a reset. It's good to stop surfing, and you see from you start to see surfing from different perspective.
Mm-hmm.
You can and also maybe yeah. I was suggesting it, but I don't know if he did it or not. But it's sometimes good to stop what you're doing and just see it from different perspective.
Yeah.
I thought.
I mean, I could see that. For especially someone like him, on the CT, you're just grinding so hard, and he's so busy. He has all these endorsement deals, and he's flying around doing this and that. It must be good to, and like John is taking the whole year off. He's like, I'm just gonna focus on myself. I need to like. He's probably thinking more long term, like how do I prepare for longer term success, right? Maybe I could keep on charging. I could go for another title, but he's just like, I probably need to do this for myself so I can I can perform better overall, like in the long term. And I'm sure at that level, like they have to worry about that. But even, if you're an everyday surfer and you just, you're not competing or anything like that. But I could see, maybe you just have like multiple sessions day after day and you just get stuck and you're like, oh man, I'm just getting worse. I'm not getting better. I mean, maybe you just need to take a break, right? Instead of just like pounding your head against the sand, you're just like, all right, I'm just going to take a day off. I'm going to take a week off. I'm just going to focus on other things. And then that gives you different perspective. And then you're like, oh, I miss surfing. Like, like, oh, I want to go surf. And then you're just happy to be in the water, as opposed to before you're just like, oh man, like I didn't get that wave, or I'm having a bad session. You're just like, oh, I'm just happy to be in the water. I don't even need to catch any waves. I'm just happy that I'm here, and that could probably be a good reset. I see that. Interesting.
I mean, if it's true or not, but he went through the reset mode, but he was still wanting to go surf.
Yeah.
The funny thing was, I was going through the same phase. I was thinking, maybe I don't want to go surf, but then I have to go surf.
Mm-hmm.
He was the opposite.
Yeah.
He was going through the reset phase, but then he wanted to go surf. It's like I was the opposite. I kind of didn't want to go surf, but I had to go surf because the competition is coming up.
Yeah.
But everybody's different. But
he's an animal. That's probably the reason why he's also on the CT. He's really good. He's just an animal. He's just like, I love it. Yeah. Oh man, that's so sick, huh? Well, maybe we'll get into So I had questions for you because you are known for being like the Japanese Occy. You have such sick style. It's minimal, but then it's also really powerful. How did you cultivate it, or what are your tips if you want to surf? If I want to surf like you, I want to surf like Masatoshi Ohno. Like, how do I surf like you, man? Like I was watching. Right. Yeah, go ahead.
He was my hero, Tom Carroll. I was at the beach when Tom Carroll did this 8 feet, 10 feet pipeline snap under the lip. And I was at the beach. I was 10 years old, and I watched it live. And since I was a kid, he was my hero. Tom Carroll, Occy, Martin Potter. I watched the Martin Potter VHS over and over until the thing goes, But I also when I surf pipeline when I was 15 years old.
Wow.
And I came back to my hometown. I said to my friend, actually older friends, I told my friend, I just want to be a pipeline surfer. And this guy told me, you're still 15. You should compete for at least for now, and you can surf pipeline when you get a little older. And you just focus on pipeline when you get older. but that's how much I loved pipeline when first time I went to Hawaii when I was super young when my parents took me there. And I still remember I was 8 or 10. I saw Karani Rob surfing pipeline. It was small pipeline, but it was so cool to see him surf pipe. It was, even though it was small, and he was carrying a local motion surfboards, and it was so cool.
Yeah.
And it was dream to paddle out a pipe. And when I became 15, Liam McNamara took me to pipeline and showed me the ropes, the swell direction and all that. And I sit right behind him, and right behind him there was a Wakita Peak.
Yeah.
And under that was my spot. Underneath. It was
but that's
just
already super deep, right? I mean, Wakita's Peak, that's known for being like, he sat over there because no one else would sit there because it's so deep, right?
Yes, but Liam showed me pipeline. And how Tom Carroll surf pipeline was just, for me, the bestest ever.
Yeah. Oh my God. So you just studied their tapes endlessly. Were you were you just like, you just wanted to emulate them growing up? Probably you're just like, yes. I want to surf like that. I want that style.
Definitely.
And probably Occy, because you're goofy footed as well. You're like, oh, it's another, goofy foot. And you're like, I want to surf like that. And well, both of them goofy foot. So that's probably where the inspiration comes, huh?
Definitely. And I want to be like water, my friend.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Now I get your nickname, Mar, like ocean, right? Like,
I don't know. No, that come from just my mom told me Mar because Masatoshi. It's got the front Mar, M-A, but but I want to surf. Yeah.
But you know that Mar means ocean in Spanish,
ocean, right? In Spanish, right? Yeah.
Oh, that's so sick. Your mom picked you the perfect name for you for your nickname. She didn't even know it. No. Wow. So then, so you come up as a little kid, you're watching all these greats. I mean, I can't even imagine just being on the beach when, Tom did that snap. That's insane. And you're so inspired. You're getting so stoked. Like, were there any, you probably started surfing at such a young age, but even then, like, do you ever remember hitting any plateaus in your surfing, maybe technique wise, that you struggled with, and like, how did you break out of those plateaus? Or do you consider yourself always somebody that was just very naturally talented and you just learned it all and you never even had to think about it? Or what was your progression through surfing like for you?
I started surfing when I was super young, probably 3, 4, 5, and it was natural for me to. When I hit the wall when I was 14 or 15 or somewhere around there, I started training. My mom was like, "Oh, I have a twin brother, and he's a regular footer. I'm a goofy footer, and we toured together. We surf. We compete the QS together."
Oh wow!
And then my mom kind of saw that we kind of hit the wall, and she told us to start training.
Okay.
That's when we started the personal trainer. We found the personal trainer and we started training, and that's kind of how
you got through that plateau. Interesting.
Yeah.
And was it purely just physical training? Like, what was some of the training that you were doing then?
We were strict nutrition. We were very careful what we were eating. Basically olive oil, chicken, and nothing else. No sweets, no nothing. And fish. It was pretty strict. And we trained like really, really hard every day. Yeah, so nutrition and when I hit 19, I start to see the sports psychologist. Not sports psychologist, but more of he was a human. My friend's father was the human. I don't know what you call it. I don't know. He was he psychologist, but he was. I don't know. I don't know how to box him. He was out there.
But he's more on the mental. He's more on the mental side of things. Got it. Okay, interesting. Well, okay, so you're doing this training. You're working on the mental side. Like, what about on the technique side? Or, even what advice would you give to everyday surfers who are trying to improve their surfing? Like you have such a good bottom turn. Your carve is so sick, what tips would you give to everyday surfers who are trying to get better at their surfing with their bottom turn, their carve, or what have you?
Keep the paddle strength strong every day. If you are normal surf, if you are not an everyday surfer, because the paddling is the most important thing for me is paddling, because to catch a wave, if you cannot catch a wave, you cannot get on the wave. You cannot surf.
Yeah.
So the for me is paddling is most important.
Yeah.
And weekend surfer, especially from Tokyo or New York, if you even do a paddle training 5 minutes a day, and that will make a big difference when you get to the beach on the weekends.
Yeah.
And also visualization. When you get on the wave, what you want to do depends. Carve, off the lip, or air, or get barreled. For me is very important to visualize what you want to do, how you want to ride the wave, how you want to draw the line on the wave.
Yeah.
Visualization is very important for me.
Was there any did you ever make it very structured in your approach? Or what is it just before, like, for you personally, like before heats, would you sit there and be like, all right, I'm going to spend 5 minutes visualizing in advance? Or you just visualize all day? Or you visualizing, was there any specific practice that you did when you were trying to visualize?
I mean, of course, when I was young, I watched VHS every single day, every moment of my life, every day. When I wasn't in the water.
Yeah.
And when you get older, I mean, of course, before the competition, you listen music and you watch the waves, where the good waves are and how you want to ride the wave. Of course, you visualize it. And now I hurt my knee 8 months ago in Tahiti, so I haven't been able to surf for the last 8 months. I'll be rehabbing, but it's very fun to watch a surf movie and you visualize how you want to surf when you recover from the knee injury.
Yeah.
But basically, you watch surf movie every day, all day long.
That's your best advice. Just spend 8 hours a day watching surfing. I love it. What happened to your knee?
I was in the barrel, and it's just the whole thing just came together all at once. And I tweaked my knee.
Oh man. Well, hopefully you're recovering.
But PRP, I did the PRP. Do you know PRP?
No, what's that?
You take the blood out of your body and you spin the thing and just get the good bits from your blood, and then you put jab back into your place where you get hurt, or ACL, or meniscus, wherever, and the whole thing just recovers naturally.
Oh wow.
It's a bad explanation of PRP, but if you search PRP, because I had the torn ACL.
Oh man.
But I just did the PRP injection 5 times.
Yeah.
It recovered. I did the MRI and now it's clean. It's back now. Yeah.
Oh wow.
So before you do the surgery, you should look into it.
Oh wow. And so you've probably been having to do a lot of training as well to like rehab, right? Like
rehab, yeah.
Yeah, lots of rehab for that. Oh man. Yeah. one of the coaches I interviewed, Magnum Martinez, like he blew out his knee a while ago, and he was out of the water for months and months. And yeah, it is very tough. It is very tough dealing with an injury.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. So you say paddle training, number one, getting paddle fit is number one, visualization, don't get injured, obviously. Any common mistakes that you see? Like, is there anything that you see in the water where you're like, oh man,
But it was a gift. Sorry, it was a gift to get hurt, because
Really?
otherwise I wouldn't be able to stop 8 months. I stopped surfing for 8 months, and I would able to do other things.
Huh.
You know,
You
if I'm not injured, which
Okay.
is this is my biggest injury ever in my 43 years life, and I wouldn't stop surfing. I had to stop surfing because I hurt my knee.
Yeah.
And I never imagined I stopped surfing for 8 months, but I was able to see it from different perspective, and also I do completely different things I have never imagined. So for me, it was like it's a gift. I mean, depends how you see it, but it in the beginning I was like, damn, I got hurt and this and that, but then the time went by. I was like, actually, it's not bad. It's actually it's giving me time.
Interesting.
To do other things and to really have a rest, like really rest.
Huh.
It was
wow.
Yes, it was amazing.
You have a very mature way of thinking about it. I think most people would just be bummed because they're like, oh, I can't surf,
I'm not trying to be hyper positive or anything. It was just it was literally like, yes, I wouldn't be able to do this if I weren't injured.
Wow, you have a very unique perspective to it. I mean, it's interesting because you talked. I was very quickly. I saw that you're talking about. It's important to balance the artistic side of surfing with the competition side of surfing. Could you talk more about that?
It's more of an expression of your self through surfing. That interests me, especially you're in the zone and you're just drawing your own line. It's just when you see someone else surfing and you feel inspired, or I wouldn't call it's a bit tacky to say artistic side of surfing. I don't really like it, but it's just how you express how you true self. I don't know, but that interests me. I mean, competition, of course. I also like competition because it's also shows you what it is inside you, and also it's both interesting, both very interesting.
Yeah. Okay. Well, could you give any advice on how to better express yourself on a wave or deepen, your relationship with that kind of creative side of yourself when you're surfing? Or
for me, my aim is to become one with the water. Like literally, I want to be like water. It's listening to what the waves saying instead of looking outside, or it's just one with the wave. For me, it shifts the attention to what waves are saying instead of you just do whatever you like on the wave and you just rah. I like to harmonize. I like to harmonize with the wave. Like I one with the wave. That is what I'm searching. That feeling I'm searching for.
Interesting.
And you're focusing on what the waves are saying, then you're not really worrying about other things. You're just focusing on your wave. And when you finish the wave, you're really one with the wave. You're like, what you cannot remember what you did. That's the best feeling,
That's fascinating, because that brings it back so much to what we were talking about earlier, where so much of surfing, you can just get wrapped into your head worrying about other people, that pressure to perform and all of these things. And I love this, right? By really focusing on the wave, it's not about yourself anymore. It's about just becoming one with everything, right? Becoming one with the ocean, becoming one with the wave. And then that will actually make you perform better, because that's going to make you surf better if you're really paying attention to the wave and you're not just trying to do your own will, impose your will on the wave, but do the right maneuver for the section that's coming at you, whatever is going to happen. And what you said is the exact same thing, actually, when I was interviewing Margot. He was talking about his favorite waves are where he totally doesn't even remember what happened on the wave. He said those exact same words. He was like, I don't even remember what happened, but it just felt good.
Yeah.
That's an amazing feeling. Yeah. But it can be so hard to get into that state, It can be so hard to get into that state. Yeah.
I guess. But it's like even the wave, knee-high wave or onshore wave or clean 8 to 10 feet wave depends on your mindset. Like back in the day, what Tom Curran said, whether knee-high wave or perfect 8 to 10, 4 to 6 feet perfect wave, doesn't matter. It's your where your attention is. You can have most funnest surf on knee-high onshore wave.
Wow.
And you can. That's what he said, and I resonate. And 4 to 6 feet perfect right hand or left hand barrel, you have a shocker. You can get
Yeah, that is so fascinating. Like, I think I struggle with that a lot. Like surfing really crap small waves, which we get here in New York a lot. And I'm sure you get that a lot in Japan as well. But like, if you could figure out a way to enjoy like really bad waves, that would be a superpower. That would make surfing so fun, right? Because that's what you get most of the time. But you're saying that it's about paying attention, right? It's
paying
about
attention, I feel, because it's a knee high. Even here in Japan too, we get a lot of knee high onshore wave.
Yeah.
But it's energy. It's an energy. It's a force. Yeah. Whether it's a weaker or stronger or clean or whatever, but how to ride. You decided to go surf, and how to ride this force, and it's the same thing basically. Perfect 4 to 6 a barrel, or it's just different force. It's a different how you ride this force.
Yeah, that seems like a really a good way to get stoked on surfing small waves, right? Is trying to understand the energy.
You can change the fins. How can I ride this knee-high wave good? And changing fins, or maybe thickening your boards or shortening your boards. You can explore so many ways.
Right. Interesting. So, well, one thing
of course, 4 to 6 barrel is nice.
Yes, that would be very nice. That would be very nice. Well, I mean, maybe one of the ways that you can make smaller waves more fun is changing up your boards too, right? I mean, I saw there's clips of you ripping on like a 5.2 G skate, but then you're also surfing like this 6.3 mid twin, which looks super fun as well. Like, do you think that's probably one of the key ways to make smaller waves more fun, is just changing up your equipment and riding different boards, right?
I don't mind riding long boards too. That's all about the fundamental. Is all about that. Just ride the wave with your body too. That's the purest form of surfing, right?
Yeah.
So for me, it doesn't matter how you ride the wave, but who's having most fun.
Right. Interesting. So do you mostly ride alternative boards now, or do you ride mixture? Do you also ride, I'm assuming you still ride your high performance boards every once in a while, but like what kind of boards do you normally ride now?
Now I'm injured. I'm body surfing every day.
Body surfing every day. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Out of water, I get dried up fish. But I ride anything. Depends on the condition. I decide on that day, on every session. I want to ride short board, long board, mid length, twin fin, any kind of board that I ride.
Wow. Was that a shift though? Like back when you were competing, it was probably only like your thruster, right? But then was it did you
I wish I knew. when I was competing, I wish I knew how to ride all these different kind of boards. That would gave me different perspective, different things, different way of looking at the wave, I guess. I was, when I was young, since I was a young thruster, pointed nose, I was just kept riding that.
So do you think you've learned something like riding the G skate? Like, let's say there's somebody that mostly surfs like thrusters, but then they're, what would they learn going to riding a G skate or riding a 6'3" mid twin? Like what do you think that they would learn? That what is that shift in perspective? How would it help your performance? How would it help you surf better? What do you think it is?
Sees the different lines on the wave. When you're riding thruster and pointed nose, there's one way to ride the wave, but when you shift to a mid-length twin, mid-twin, or just normal twin fin fish, it changes the way you surf, the way you take, how you perform on the wave, how you ride the wave.
Yeah.
From just riding thruster or just riding twin fin. So it's good to mix it up. And I once in a while I goes to the surf camp with the kids, the junior team, and I trying to let them try out all different kind of boards.
Interesting.
And as a surfer, I think it's a very good, give them the variety of surfboards, and there is many other ways, other lines to take. And it's good to know when they are young. I wish I was riding mid-twin when I was young.
Interesting. Yeah. Huh.
So I try to give them.
Yeah, maybe we need to get Kanoa some alternative boards. Maybe that would help Kanoa. Who knows?
I think he did that when he went through this
he did?
reset mode. Yeah, I think so.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, interesting. Yeah. Okay. Oh. All right. Well, I gotta work towards closing up. We're coming up on time. So I got 3 last questions for you. Number 1, what is your intention? I mean, I think I already know the answer to this, but we'll give it to you again. What is your intention when you stand up on a wave and you start to surf?
Be one with the wave.
Be one with the wave, right? Perfect.
Be one with the ocean.
Be one with the ocean. I mean, your name is Mar, so you already are the ocean, so it's perfect.
Thank you.
Okay, favorite wave. If you had to surf the same wave every day for the rest of your life, what wave would that be? If it's a secret spot, you don't have to name it, but what would that be?
Is it only one?
Only one. Rest of your life, one wave.
Pipeline.
Okay. What would, if you were stranded on a desert island and you had fun rippable waves, what board would you bring?
How big?
Just rippable. Let's say like
rippable.
Let's say head high to double overhead, like somewhere around there, like slightly overhead to double overhead. Let's say
I would bring G skate.
G skate. Okay, the 5.2 G skate, like the one you're riding in that one clip.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you for joining, Masatoshi. This was a pleasure. It was super fun chatting with you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Cool.